The fish eye of Mecca, the fish god. The Islamic faith hold the city of Mecca as their most holy city site. Within the city of Mecca is the mosque called Masjid al-Haram. Masjid al-Haram equals Mas Mother Isis, Jedi of Death, Al equals El, Mara equals Sirah, Mary. To the Islamic faith, this is their temple, their sanctuary, and something considered sacred. Temple equals temporary, intended to last only a short time. El, sanctuary equals sank sacrifice cross Uri, the holy place. Sanquine equals blood, sank equals sink equals 5. The sanctuary is the holy place of blood sacrifice. Sanctification equals to set aside as holy, to make holy or sacred. Sacred equals sacred equals holding blood equals secret. In the chart immediately below, the Kaaba Blackstone is the cornerstone, set in the east wall of the cube building of the Kaaba. This stone supposedly dates back to Adam and Eve, and rests at this site, supposedly built by Abraham and Ishmael. Let's consider the name Ishmael. Ishmael equals fish meal. The Kaaba Blackstone is mounted in a silver frame and takes on the appearance of an all-seeing eye, as well as the appearance of a fish eye. Over these illusory centuries, the Blackstone has broken into 15, deity number, pieces. It's this stone that Muhammad supposedly kissed, and to this day, the faithful kiss the stone, in remembrance of the kiss by Muhammad. This is exactly the same hypnotic trance inducement used in kissing the Blarney Stone in Ireland. Remember, the Blarney Stone is considered to be one half of the Stone of Scone, the coronation stone of destiny. See page 31. This Islamic tradition of kissing the stone is simply continued on in the royal family of Britain, because the royal family are Islamic, because the Church of England is an Islamic organization. Islam didn't just come into existence after the life of Muhammad and his teachings. Islam is the Islam, the water sacrifice lamb, the lamb of cleansing and sanctification, written into the Luciferian agenda from the very beginning. Kaaba Blackstone, Foundation Stone, Mormons, Holy of Holies. The 11 western United States relate to the foundation stone under the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem. On this rock, in the hypothetical center, is the location of the Holy of Holies. This was the innermost sanctuary within Solomon's temple. This was the location of the Ark of the Covenant, measuring 1.5 cubits x 2.5 cubits. This rectangle is clearly visible on the chart immediately below, and it coincides with the location of Salt Lake City, Utah, the home of the Mormon religion, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Salt Lake City equals Soul Sacrifice Crosslock Prison Site, C. Salt Lake City is the symbolic sacrifice location to the Sun God, the Holy See. The Jewish Holy of Holies under the Islamic Dome of the Rock coincides with the location of the Latter-day Saints of Jesus Christ. Now if you look down 3 charts to the Mecca fish god chart, you'll see that the Kaaba stone also coincides with this most holy place of Islam. These 3 religions are the lying children of Abraham, who have conned the majority of the world to believe the illusion of this 3-dimensional illusion, which causes suffering, pain, death, war, disease, is real, and all for control of our paradise state. Now consider the dimensions of the Mormon temple in Salt Lake City. Does that appear to be a ratio of 1.5 to 2.5, or the same ration as the Holy of Holies, Ark of the Covenant? Mormon Holy of Holies, Temple Square, Holy of Holies, Sacrifice Rock, Foundation Rock 1.5 to 2.5 cubits, Temple Square 1.5 to 2.5 ratio. Joseph Smith, a J name, founder of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, planned the layout in the plat of the city of Zion. The first permanent settlements in the valley date to the arrival of the Latter-day Saints on July 24, 1847. They had traveled beyond the boundaries of the United States seeking an isolated area to practice their religion, away from the hostility they had faced in the East. Upon arrival, President of the Church Brigham Young, a B name, is recorded as stating, "This is the right place." After seeing the area in a vision, they found the broad valley empty of any human settlement. Only 4 days after arriving in the Salt Lake Valley, Brigham Young designated the site for the Salt Lake Temple, intended to be the 3rd temple of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, to replace the abandoned Kirtland Temple in Ohio and Nauvoo Temple in Illinois. Constructed on Temple Square equals rocks equals rock, in the center of the city, the temple took 40 years to complete, being started in 1853 and dedicated on April 6, 1893. These delays meant that temples in St. George, Logan and Mandy were completed before the Salt Lake Temple. The temple has become iconic of the city and is its centerpiece. Temple Square, 40 degrees N, 111 degrees W, the southeast corner of Temple Square, The block in which the temple is situated is the initial point of reference for the Salt Lake Meridian, and for all addresses in the Salt Lake Valley. The coordinates being 40 degrees N and 111 degrees W. The number 40 coincides with 4 on the 4th clock face. The number 111 coincides with 3 on the 10th clock face. It took 40 years to build the temple. That was one hell of a vision. Even the coordinates line up symbolically with Freemasonic sacred geometry. Of course, Joseph Smith and Brigham Young were Freemasons, and were therefore easily inspired to hear the word of the Lord, and to become exceptionally adept at reading maps. In the previous 2 years before Joseph Smith brought his followers to Utah, U.S. Army officer John C. Fremont surveyed the Great Salt Lake and the Salt Lake Valley in 1843 and 1845. It's for this reason that Brigham Young had such a perfect vision of where to establish the site for the Mormon temple within just 4 days of arrival. Also knowing exactly where the 111 degrees west was situated. The number 1 will become more and more evident as the Luciferian agenda unfolds. 1 representing the New World Order, the Kingdom Age, the Age of Aquarius and the Environmental Green Movement. New World Order equals NWO equals OWN, now, WON, 1 equals 1, vision equals V number 5, is equals Is equals Isis, iron equals electrically charged iron, or more literally, a vision is the sacrifice of Zion. The photograph below shows the Temple Square inches 1912. Temple Square 1912, Utah, center of the rock. As you consider the charts demonstrating the position of Utah within the 11 western states, keep in mind that this rock is the rock that Muslims believe to be the Judgment Rock of Allah, which is symbolizing Los Angeles. By extension, the Christians and the Jews also believe this to be the rock where Jesus, or the coming Messiah, will execute judgment on behalf of the Father God. Of course, being entranced in their religious protocol as they are, they have no idea that the 11 western states form this judgment rock. Nevertheless, this is exactly the situation. Now consider that Freemasons draw many of their adherents from the religions of the world, and especially from the Muslim, Jewish and Christian faiths in North America. To become a Mason, one should have a belief in a supreme being. It used to be a prerequisite until recently, simply because, with the advent of the environmental green movement, faith in a supreme being is shifted back, literally, towards what it always has been, the worship of the sun god of Egypt and Babylon, the water, sky, earth, air. This in turn, is literally translated into the belief that the three-dimensional space is real. There's no need to hide behind the term, supreme being, any longer, as the manipulation has been successful. Since we are considering such things, consider that Freemasons use the Islamic Quran, and the Old and New Testaments, amongst their sacred texts. This tells us that to be a Freemason, one must find common ground with these writings. In other words, to be a Freemason, one must not be in objection to the writings of Muhammad or the prophets or the apostles. Yet again, this means that one must recognize that these writings regarding Allah, or Jehovah, are credible. When a Freemason moves through the degrees, by the time they reach the 32 degree of the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, they can apply to become a Shriner. One stipulation is that they must pledge allegiance to Allah. No ifs, ands or buts. They must do it, or they cannot become a Shriner. What this indicates is that the higher in rank one becomes in Freemasonry, the more important is the Islamic belief system and faith in Allah, and all that faith in Allah represents. The formal name of 32-degree Shriners who have pledged allegiance to Allah is the ancient Arabic order of the nobles of the mystic shrine. As has been shown previously on this site, faith in Allah, and the judgment of Allah, is nothing more than hypnotic trance inducement, whereby all people devoted to Allah are conjuring up, through the Islamic ritual holy days, the judgment of Los Angeles, and the supposed corruption and sin of this part of the world. The Shriners are used to promote and to perpetuate this illusory future reality. The judgment of Allah is to involve brimstone and fire, and a flood of devastation as written by the prophets whom Islamic followers adhere to. For this reason the Shriners sponsor events, unknowing to themselves, such as the Shriners Burn Unit hospitals. They also sponsor a huge soccer tournament throughout the world. The subliminals established are obvious. The Burn Unit hospitals implant in our subconscious mind the notion of volcanic seismic eruption. The soccer tournament is played in a stadium, a ritualistic circular rectangle resembling the Sacramento and San Joaquin valleys, wherein is created a wave of emotion, and where just recently, a physical wave passing around the stadium as the crowd stands in delayed sequence, has been implemented. As well, The harmless little black and white soccer ball is designed with hexagram and pentagram symbolic patches. These are representative of the 5-pointed star and the 6-pointed star. The number 5 equals sacrifice and 6 equals the sacrificer. Together, they total 5 plus 6 equals 11, the number of death. With this in mind, consider the chart below, showing the 11 western states, and how the octagon center is right in alignment with the green X that includes the area from San Francisco to San Diego, which includes the entire Sacramento and San Joaquin valleys. The Great Salt Lake City, and the Mormon Temple, home of the Latter-day Saints, are located within the green X triangle that extends to California. The octagon symbolizing the double cross of religious sun, blood worship and total control. The interstate highways, I-5, I-15, I-8, and I-80 further symbolize this sacrifice 5, from LA to LA 15 goes right into LA, and control 8, and control with intensity 80. Doing this